What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, I think there were a lot of you like me who were shocked to find out recently that Marvel Studios plans on moving forward and releasing Avengers 5 in May of 2026, which means they need to get cracking on that film and immediately. Well, in the last 48 hours, we've had a ton of updates. We now know exactly when it's going to start filming, what direction they're going with the film and the team, and according to one industry insider, they've already told specific actors to clear their schedules. We're breaking down all the updates, where they came from, what they exactly said, and examining what the new Avengers 5 team will look like, at least according to one industry insider. So much to go over and talk about Avengers 5. We're breaking it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is right around the corner to coincide with X-Men 97's finale next month. Again, all you got to do is be a subscriber, leave a comment if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so as I mentioned in the prologue, a lot of this broke in the last couple of days. We're just going to rewind the clock and start with the earliest one, coming from none other than industry insider Daniel Rickman. You guys can follow him over on Twitter at RPK News, and if you're not familiar with this source, he is the most trusted as far as industry insiders and Marvel scoops, so much so he has huge editorials like The Hollywood Reporter and Deadline, sometimes covering his scoops or getting to them later and in the same day. This is what he said Thursday morning about Avengers 5, quote, "Marvel told some Avengers actors to clear their schedule for the Avengers films. They figured out the direction. Smaller team, no Fantastic Four, and a lot of other new characters in Avengers 5. Now, I will admit that the wording is a little odd there, and some people mistook this to say no Fantastic Four, but a lot of other new characters. His sentiment in that sentence was no Fantastic Four and none of the other new characters, or not a lot of the other new characters in Avengers 5, meaning no Hercules, no Clea, all those one-offs in the post-credit scenes that they introduced and never got back to. Don't expect to see them in the 5th installment of the Avengers franchise. They're going with a much smaller and concise team, which we now have a clear view of, and a lot of work needs to be done there, but we're going to get to that in just a second. Now, the next scoop actually came from the editorial Nexus Point News, where they went on to talk about the filming for Avengers 5 and specific dates and location. They revealed that Avengers 5 will actually start filming in January of next year. That's right, they moved it up from the end of the year all the way to January, the beginning of Q1 in 2025, and will take place in the UK. They also went on to put an asterisk by that and say it looks like Marvel is moving a lot of their productions from Atlanta to the UK, but these have been the two most common sources, and recently Marvel's been doing a ton in the UK because of the tax breaks, so that's not anything new. But the real question is, who exactly are these actors that Marvel Studios has told to clear their schedule for Avengers 5? And if they're going with a much smaller team and not a lot of the new one-off introduced characters and post-credit scenes, what is the Avengers 5 team going to look like? Well, one of the Twitter scoopsters, Hollyfield News, actually weighed in with this image here and said, what if I told you that the first wave of new Avengers in the Multiverse saga is the following 5: Sam Wilson, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, Shuri, and Shang-Chi. Now, I've actually got a ton to say about this, and I don't even know where to begin. First up, if you've been paying attention to Phase 4 and Phase 5, and if Las Vegas was offering odds as to who you'd expect to be, say, the first 5 or 6 members of Avengers 5, you would pick these 5. These 5 and Ant-Man, which curiously, we haven't heard a single thing about Ant-Man and from anybody lined up into Avengers 5, where we would have assumed it would be a lead-in from Quantumania to Kang Dynasty. Who knows if he'll be a part of it. Now, doubling back, the reason we would have picked these 5 is because outside of, say, some outliers like Thor and Doctor Strange, which have other plans in the Multiverse saga where they'll show up again in the 3rd and 5th installment of their franchise, these are the characters that have had their own movies. Shang-Chi, Captain Marvel got the 2nd installment for her franchise. Shuri was the protagonist and got the mantle during Black Panther, and of course we assume Spider-Man 4 is on the horizon. These are the characters that they've been focusing on the entire time. We also know that they're prioritizing Shang-Chi 2. It's confirmed that Destin Daniel Cretton is working on that film. But where I said they had a ton of work to do is because there is very little overlap in the way of screen time for these characters, number one, or even any dialogue between the characters. For instance, we know that technically Sam Wilson as Falcon was present in Wakanda and during the events of Infinity War, but got very little screen time between him and Shuri, if anything. We don't know that they've actually talked to each other. Same with Captain Marvel. They would have overlapped during the Battle of New York, but we haven't actually seen any meaningful action or dialogue between Captain Marvel and Sam Wilson in the MCU MCU and on screen. Same could be said for Spider-Man, where they just cast a spell so that everybody would forget that he was Peter Parker. They may have memory of that hero, but the interaction between Peter Parker and Captain Marvel, the moment they shared on the Endgame battlefield, has now been erased as well. Falcon might remember Spider-Man and from the Battle of Civil War, but won't really remember him as Peter Parker or being a member of the Avengers, and same could be said for basically Spider-Man and Shuri or Spider-Man and Shang-Chi, which we haven't seen any on-screen dialogue. Honestly, we really don't have much evidence that Shuri and Peter Parker have ever interacted with each other ever, and we do know there are some light connections. For instance, Shang-Chi actually met Captain Marvel alongside Wong and Bruce Banner when they were examining the bangles at the end of Shang-Chi 1. So there's some sort of overlap there between those two characters, seemingly. We also know that Shuri would have probably had a hand in developing Sam Wilson's Captain America suit, which we know came from Wakanda at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So there's overlap. They've definitely interacted. They know of each other in some sort of way in the MCU, but not on screen in a meaningful way with dialogue. So they need to set that team up, and since they're focusing on these characters, I think an early Avengers 5 film to get the core of the team put together before you add everybody else and get to the Avengers 6 sort of multiverse Secret Wars conclusion of it all would make perfect sense. And that's why I think they're going to focus on something small, move forward with Avengers 5, get it out by 2026, and then announce that Secret Wars will be a two-part series. We'll get 2 more Avengers films, Avengers 6 and technically Avengers 7, Secret Wars Part 1 and Part 2. That's where you can go and add all the other characters to the core of the team that they're going to develop in Avengers 5. Now, that being said, I doubt that these will be the only 5 members that show up during the film, so don't freak out. I know that they're going to add other characters to it, but who do you want to make it on the team? And honestly, how do you see this going as far as a plot? Do you think it could still be Kang? They're just going to recast? Could they be moving forward with another villain? Who do you want to see feature as the antagonist of a smaller and more Earth-based, non-multiversal take on the Avengers team, and probably for the last time before Secret Wars? I'm all ears. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we are still giving away PlayStation 5s at the channel, and as I've said, we're just going to continue to do that until the PlayStation 5 Pro or the PlayStation 6 comes out. We're also going to start giving away things more frequently here, maybe of a little lesser value, like graded comics, etc., only because Marvel Studios has far less releases this year, and the PlayStation 5's been out for a while. Either way, for any future giveaways here at the channel, regardless of the prize, all the same rules will always apply. All you got to do is be a subscriber, so hit the sub button, then leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos in the same way we're doing here, live with my voice in the comments shown on screen. So please be safe and vigilant on YouTube or really any other platform. Realize anybody can take a content creator's photo, claim to be that content creator. That's all a ruse and scam to try to get you to pay for shipping for a prize that doesn't exist. Keep in mind, no content creator, if you win something, will ever charge you for shipping. If you should get a spam comment like that on YouTube or really any platform, just report it to the respective platform, as they are far faster and far more thorough about getting to it than the content creator. And while you can let the content creator know, I assure you they are doing everything in their power to get rid of those comments as well. Now, the best way to keep up with the channel has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name Allfires. And while I'd sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around, we'll be posting again real soon.